Have you guys seen that new Star Wars game though? It looks ass. Star Wars Outlaws. It's like insanely bad. Did you see the film? I have not seen it yet. No, I want to see it, but it's movie theaters for me is very far away now. Star Wars Outlaws review after 100% 8 hours ago. This shield looks like a jackal shield from Halo. Does it not? It does. It looks exactly like that. How old is this game? This is like released in 2004 or something like that, right? How is that in a game now? In 2024. The big new movie theater near me is also like 20 minutes to drive. I mean, yeah, I can go drive 20 minutes and then also be at a movie theater. I can be like 2 movie theaters at that distance probably, but it's a 20-minute. I don't think 20-minute drive is close by. But that's saying because I used to be like 5 minutes away from 5 minutes away by bike, by a bicycle, by step.
Hey, Indy! I'm gonna need some backup down here.
As far as Star Wars
that's
video
what I
games
said.
go, we've taken countless turns at twirling lightsabers and unleashing flashy force powers, but Star Wars Outlaws swaggers into the cantina, slinks down into a booth with its holster clip unbuttoned, and argues that those are no match for a good blaster at your side. This open world, or rather open worlds action game features a level of gun battles and broken promises befitting the legend that is Chewbacca's best mate.
There you go
However,
again.
Star Wars
that jackal
best
shield.
mate. However, Star Wars Outlaws essentially his best mate. However, Star Wars Outlaws essentially delivers a Han Solo-like experience in both good and bad ways. It has some handsome looks and a strong sense of adventure, but it's also somewhat scruffy around the edges and is liable to let you down and bad ways.
That looks
it has some
good, though. I have to say that the open world graphics of this game, they look pretty decent. Like the textures of the backgrounds and stuff look pretty good.
Some looks and a strong
like
sense
a
of
lot
adventure,
of things that
but
I've
it's
seen
also
with
somewhat
this.
scruffy around the edges and is liable to let you down from time to time.
Maybe unpopular opinion, but I'm fine with like dumb glitches like this though. I really don't care. I think the biggest problem is with this game is that like this game is just riddled with the bugs. Whereas like these things happen in like every game. Like these can happen in Elden Ring.
Time.
They can happen in like all animation. It's just that this game is just like really in like bad daylight that is just more obvious.
Of course, given that its propulsive space western story takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, the actual Han Solo is literally on ice for the duration of Outlaws. Instead, we step into the battered space boots of Kay Vass, a cunning thief raised amidst the hives of scum and villainy in the gambling capital of Canto Bight, and accompanied at all times by her adorable pint-sized partner in crime, Nyx.
I think
Kay's quickly shown to be handy with a hairpin
in this
lockpick.
game with the character is her hair. Her hair does not look natural at all. It looks really like she has like Lego hair that's like a little bit like more fluid than Lego, but like it looks like she has like somebody just put a wig inside on top of her. Starfield looks like it plays better than this.
And has an insatiable appetite for five-finger discounts.
That looks nice, huh, Nix?
Although like Dash Rendar and pre-Jedi Kyle Katarn before her, she never really steps out of Han's shadow and becomes much more than a stand-in smuggler with a heart of gold.
You want it done right? You do it yourself.
What follows is a 20-hour string of reckless rescue missions and shady underworld dealings as Kay and Nix crisscross their way around 4 main planets and the pirate-riddled spaces between, attempting to unite a squad of like-minded criminals with the aim of pulling off a major heist and erasing the bounty placed on Kay's head by the crime boss, Slero. This casino owner serves as Outlaws' primary antagonist and seems suitably callous enough,
You must be Slero.
Your friends abandoned you.
but is neither as outright evil as Emperor Palpatine, nor as quietly menacing as Grand Admiral Thrawn, and is kept at a distance for the most part and only ever encountered in the occasional cutscene.
You're gonna have to do better than that.
Even so, Outlaws' story is a consistently entertaining quest, and one that takes Kay through some recognisable spaces and some entirely new, all while cutting deals with countless colourful criminals including this surly Celestin mobster on Akiva, who has the audacity to deal out orders to you while putting his feet up on a desk made out of his own carbonite-encased brother.
He took my eye, but I took everything else.
While her end goal may be considerably smaller in scope than, say, blowing up a Death Star, the environments Kay's entertaining saga unfolds in are surprisingly large. To be clear, this isn't No Man's Skywalker, so you don't have the freedom to circle each planet and land wherever you choose. However, with the exception of the comparatively more compact city setting of Kijimi, Outlaws' sandboxes stretch out far and wide and contrast with each other nicely, from the iconic arid sands of Tatooine to the lush rainforest of Akiva, whose network of rivers is handily transformed into shortcut-making highways once you unlock the upgrade for your speeder bike that allows it to skim across the water's surface. It's a good thing too that Kay's speeder can be upgraded, since it's the only vehicle she's able to steer around while navigating each terrain. Despite the fact that in Outlaws' many
I think that's like a bad point. Like, if you have like, I don't care about having just one vehicle, that because I think it's pretty cool. You can go on like a speeder bike and then unlock upgrades to like go different terrains. I don't need like more than one vehicle in a game if it's gonna like diminish like the function of like each vehicle that you have in a game. Like this way you have like one vehicle that is gonna be done well, rather than having like 5 vehicles that all gonna be like working half-ass, where you're gonna think like, why can't I do this, why can't I do that, even though it should be able to do those things. But it's like just gonna be like restricted because gameplay reasons.
bustling settlements you can see land speeders whizzing by, saddled dewbacks waddling along, and towering ATSTs chicken walking past, you can't actually ride or drive any of them. Compared with a decade-old Grand Theft Auto 5, where if you can see it, you can probably steal it, or last year's The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where if you can think it, you can probably build it, Outlaws comes up shorter than Luke Skywalker in a Stormtrooper suit in terms of its list of usable transportation types, which is a bit disappointing for a modern open-world adventure.
Like I said, I'm like okay with that. It's Ubisoft, so one feeling playing
Imperial's over there.
Outlaws isn't just about getting from A to B, however. It's also about breaking into
At
and
least
out
not
of various
bunch of
Imperial
shitty
bases
vehicles
and
that are gonna
crime
even
syndicates'
worse.
headquarters at the behest of the various underworld cohorts that Kay conspires with along the way.
Name's Varric, and I've got a real job for you.
Furry friend Nix is vital to these infiltrations, as he's basically a space cat drone who functions like a watchdog's phone. You can point him at switches to activate while you remain in cover,
Nix, the door.
or to briefly divert the attention of security cameras to allow you safe passage,
Nix, put on a show.
among several other useful talents. Kay has her own special set of skills when it comes to sneaking her way into each high security facility, and I never grew tired of the rhythm-based lockpicking, a surprisingly simple yet effective game of Simon Says that has to be one of the snappiest and most satisfying ways to open locked doors and crates that I've enjoyed in a while. Overall, however, Outlaws' stealth is markedly uneven.
What are you doing? You've alerted the
Like all
station.
lockpicking in video games, I think Bethesda
Sometimes
is
it's
the
far
one of the
too easy, like when I was able to do the tried and tested Assassin's Creed distract and dispatch routine on multiple enemies in the same spot.
All right, distract him, Nix.
Yet at other times it was wildly unpredictable, like when I'd somehow trigger an alarm performing a stealth takedown, even though it appeared that no one else was around. Instead, more often
You know, I kind of want to play this game just to see how it plays. Like, you know, when you have those games that look like just really bad, that you just want to play it. Just like when Gollum came out, I had like the urge to play Gollum just because it looked so bad, and I just wanted to experience it. No, please don't do this to us.
than I'd like, my efforts to remain hidden would evaporate, things would get loud, and a number of other problems would present themselves. Outlaws' combat serves up some solid cover-based shooting with authentic sound effects and punchy smoke and spark.
Wait, so they have
combat
like
serves up some solid
the system from like Gears of War to reload your weapon.
cover-based shooting with authentic sound effects and punchy smoke and sparks with each blaster bolt impact, but precious little in the way of new ideas. It's less Bad Batch and more basic bitch. It always seemed to be Red Barrel delivery day in every combat arena that Kay arrived in, and I used these explosive targets in almost every encounter to thin the Stormtrooper and scumbag hordes. There's always the challenge of knowing when to detonate them to take out the most enemies, but that's the same thing we've been doing for decades, so while it's effective, it doesn't exactly make Outlaws' combat stand out.
So just use it as
These simplistic shootouts can also be brought to a faster conclusion via the use of Kay's Adrenaline Rush move, which charges up while she's under attack and allows her to slow time and then mark and execute multiple targets in one rapid hip-firing burst, almost identical to the Deadeye targeting from the Red Dead Redemption series. It's used.
That does not look anything like the Deadeye from the Red Dead series. This looks like 10 times worse.
Rapid hip-firing burst, almost identical to the Deadeye targeting from the Red Dead Redemption series.
This doesn't even
It's
aim.
Series.
That looks
It's useful
really bad.
and satisfying.
That does look nothing like the Deadeye like he's trying to describe.
For the most part, although I did find Kay would occasionally pump some stylish slow-motion blaster rounds directly into the cover in front of her rather than the target I had selected. It felt a bit limiting that Kay can only permanently carry her blaster and grenades in her inventory, but weapons dropped by enemies can be picked up, used, and discarded once they're out of ammo. However, what really irks me about Outlaws' approach to secondary weapons is how much it goes out of its way to make you drop them. Do a melee attack? Drop your weapon. Crawl into a vent? Drop your weapon. Climb a wall or a ladder? Drop your weapon.
I mean, that's logical.
Who programmed this? RoboCop?
I feel like that's like nitpicking again. Just to nitpick.
Drop it!
If I pick up a sniper rifle, it doesn't seem unreasonable to expect that I should be able to carry it with me up to a high enough vantage point to best put it to use.
Okay, that is stupid.
It's especially annoying given how often I was hit and killed instantly while behind cover by enemy snipers in elevated positions. Simple and reheated as it generally is, I definitely warmed to the combat a bit more as time went on, particularly once I was able to upgrade my blaster with a couple of alternative shot modes. That effectively gave me 3 weapons to swap between, even if they were all coming out of the same barrel. Still, at no point did this combat system ever feel as flexible or as fun as the best games in Ubisoft's own Far Cry series, and fights started to feel pretty repetitive, outside of the rare encounter with probe droids or the one-off scrap with a Rancor. Having said that, I'll take the basic on-foot combat in Outlaws over its awkward speeder bike fights any day.
Really good in this game, and some of them were like really awful.
Since this is Star Wars, Outlaws also features space combat, and rarely could I ever emerge from a lightspeed jump in Kay's Trailblazer ship and not crash headlong into a dogfight that felt authentic to the films.
You know, it'd be nice to visit a planet that isn't a war zone once in a while.
Slinking off to bully some TIE fighters did offer a nice way to blow off some steam every once in a while, as a break from all the face-to-face skullduggery down on each planet's surface. Although I didn't invest too much in the ship modifications, since the modest challenge presented by my orbital opponents didn't ever seem to increase to any noticeable degree.
See, like, that looks good.
Jabba,
And then
right?
you see
One of
this, and you're
Outlaws'
like,
most
huh?
interesting and
Like,
novel
why does her
features
character
is
look
its
so out of
syndicate
place
system,
compared to,
which
like,
reminded me
everything
of the
else in there?
reputation system used in the Outer Worlds. Basically, you can't really
Like look at that. If this is in-game graphic, that looks good, right? Like we can all agree that kind of graphic look really good.
complete a quest over
But
the
then you,
course
like,
of the
look at the main
campaign
character,
without
and she looks,
pissing
like,
off
really
one of the
washed
4 main
out,
crime families in
and
order
looks
to
like really
please
low
another.
polygons.
make a move?
Like look at what is her hair still? I don't understand.
Cozying up with one cartel might get you cheaper prices at a merchant you're on side with,
How about you let me take this off your hands and I'll throw in a good word for you?
but it'll also rob you of the ability to move about freely within the headquarters of another gang you've slighted.
Hey, you got anything interesting in the back?
Do I know you?
It's worth pointing out that this isn't Mass Effect. None of the numerous decisions I made seem to make
Legendary fit.
It's worth pointing out that this isn't Mass Effect. None of the numerous decisions I made seem to make a significant difference to the overall outcome of the story, but they did effectively make me feel like a truly dirty, rotten scoundrel as I continually reevaluated my allegiances in each deal I made so that it would best suit whatever my motives were at the time.
Okay, Manda, you got a deal.
For example, before I started exploring the surface of Tatooine, I made sure that I'd worm my way into the
Like
good
look at like this compared to like literally a moments before.
Before I started exploring the surface of Tatooine, I made sure that I'd worm my way into the good graces of the Hutt Syndicate, since Jabba's goons control large swathes of its map, and I wanted to ensure that I could explore it thoroughly without.
Can we see on like what they recorded this on? PlayStation 5. It was on PlayStation 5.
Drawing too much unwanted heat. Being able to explore unimpeded is paramount because Outlaws does such a great job teasing you with secrets to find or opportunities to pursue in an extremely organic way as you move through its 4 main worlds.
I found 2 perfectly good converters in the alley behind the club.
Almost every Cantina conversation I eavesdropped on or discarded datapad I read pointed me towards some new treasure to seek out or gambling tip to take advantage of, and it always felt like I was gleaning some illicit information rather than just being spoon-fed chores to complete, as is the case in so many other open-world adventures.
He hangs around
That's
the
just
back
an
alley
illusion.
next to the market.
Where
It's the same
Outlaws'
thing,
quest
it just
design
makes you
really
think
excels,
you're
though,
more
is in
involved.
taking seemingly innocuous side objectives and spinning them out into exciting, multi-staged adventures that regularly took me by surprise. Like when a simple trip to collect a certain object in Mos Eisley took a series of sharp twists and turns, and suddenly I was sliding deep into the bowels of a Sarlacc pit,
We're going in next.
and then thrust straight into an exciting escape from a huge sandworm. It's the lively left-turn stretches like these where Outlaws really shines. By stringing together, it's the escape from a huge sandworm. It's the lively left-turn stretch.
Is this PlayStation 1? Are we watching something on like the PlayStation 1 right now?
Sandworm.
I thought it was on PlayStation 5. But I remember seeing this one back in like 2004.
It's the lively left-turn
Stop
stretches
putting it
like
on
these where
320p.
Outlaws really shines. By
No,
stringing together
it's
countless
not.
Star Wars references.
I put the video on 1080p. It's the highest we can put it on.
Exciting escape from a huge sandworm.
This looks
It's
awful.
the lively left-turn stretches like these where Outlaws
And then the
really
person
shines.
saying that
By
this
stringing
is,
together
like,
countless Star Wars
where
references
the
and
game
Uncharted-style
shines.
moments of spectacular action and adventure, and there are plenty of quests like this that I've undertaken, and likely many more that I haven't even found yet. However, in order to enjoy moments such as these, you've got to take the rough with the smooth, especially since, as of launch, the PlayStation 5 version of Star Wars Outlaws that I played is plagued by more irritating bugs than a Dagobah camping ground. Over the course of the journey, I saw countless graphical glitches, speeder bikes crashing to a halt. Over the course of the journey, I saw countless graphical glitches, speeder bikes crashing to a halt trying to go over jumps.
Again, I
small
can be
hills,
okay with these kind of dumb
or
things,
just randomly teleporting entirely.
It's just that everything else is bad.
Crucial mission prompts not appearing and forcing checkpoint
If the game
restarts,
would have been
and
good,
countless
nobody would have
occasions
been
where the
complaining about
dialogue
this
audio just dropped out completely.
Hey there.
That's just a few of many examples. So if issues like those sound like they'd force pull you out of the Star Wars universe,
if this game would have
it
been
might be
good,
best to let you be.
people will be making videos about it, and people will be just laughing about it and being like, "Oh well." But now because the game is like super bad and like look at the graphics, look at the gameplay, look at everything else, people are like fed up with it.
Ubisoft blast them off Outlaws' hull like a bunch of cable-chewing Minox.
And then you pay like you pay
pick
$30
Outlaws
extra to
up.
play it 5 days early, just to have
Blasters aren't gonna
me
do
reset your
anything
video.
to this thing.
Just
It's
reset your
ironic the
save
K ship
file
is
on
called
day
the
one
Trailblazer,
release.
since there's
On the
actually not a
general
whole lot
public
of
release,
ideas
so
in
you
Star
just
Wars
basically
Outlaws
pay
that haven't been
$30
done in
for
other
nothing.
action and open world adventures. Instead, it's quite like the Millennium Falcon. A bucket of bolts held together with repurposed parts and prone to breaking down. But at its best, it's more than capable of jolting your pleasure centers into Star Wars fan hyperspace.
I just can't
A
get
clever
over
syndicate
this part,
system
though.
brings jolting your pleasure centers into
This looks awful. I can't understand how anybody could have approved of this. I would have rather them not putting this in the game altogether than like being okay with this being in the game. This just looks so bad. This is legit like PlayStation 2 era. I think PlayStation 1 era is a little bit too low, but this is PlayStation 2 era. This is like OG Xbox, PlayStation 2.
Star Wars fan hyperspace. A clever
even
syndicate system
Xbox.
brings real
I
weight
mean,
to
it's
almost
just
every
PlayStation
task you
2.
choose to undertake, some of which have truly creative quest designs that can often conjure up some genuinely stunning blindsides. Having a
It
pal like Nick's at your
reminds
side
me
the entire
of
time
the,
not only adds an extra dimension to Kay's fairly generic smuggler
Jedi Academy
character,
games.
but also gives her an
They were
enhanced
fun.
set of abilities.
We can't
But
excuse
even
that
he
in
can't quite make
Smash
Outlaws' stealth and combat feel any less rigid or repetitive, and the odds of avoiding the many glaring technical issues present at launch is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Okay, fair enough. For more IGN reviews, check out our verdicts on Black Myth,
The game
Wukong,
is
and
7,
Fallout
though.
London, and for
That is
everything
way too
else,
high.
stick with IGN.
Let's get out of here, ND5.
Acknowledged, Kay.
Like I said, I still feel like this game looks fun, but that's it. Like, it doesn't look like a really good game. It doesn't look like the most awful game either, but it looks like in between there. I would not give it a 7.
I'm at
7
Jay
is way
Leno's
too
garage, and
high.
I'm at Jay Leno's
Jesus, James May got old. What the hell, man?
garage.
He looks like the guy from Mythbusters now. What the hell? Anyway, Star Wars. I feel like a 7 is way too high. I would probably give this game like a 5 or a 6, like somewhere in the middle. I haven't played it yet. For what I've seen, I would probably say it looks like a 5, maybe a 6. Gameplay wise, like mission and etc. might be looking fun, but other than that, I think this game is worth its release right now. It looks very, very bad. You played the Jedi. It look like I said, like some of those graphics, like the Sandworm one, looked exactly like the Jedi Academy game. Like, where is it? I have that one too. Those games are fun. Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. There you go. I mean, like the Sandworm could fit in with that. Look at that Wookiee. It looks. Can I go to this third page? There you go. Knights of the Old Republic 2, even better. I think Knights of the Old Republic is the Star Wars game. Though, like I said, I think Knights of the Old Republic is a bit different gameplay than playing like Star Wars Jedi Academy. Jedi Academy is like more action oriented, whereas Knights of the Old Republic is typical BioWare kind of gameplay, where it's like turn-based combat, which is but this is really fun. I really like it. I really like upgrading my characters. I think I played this game like twice too, just because I played the game first. I ended up like having like a good run, I guess, where I didn't get the Wookiee, I got the weird girl. And I forgot like a few items to build the robot, the assassin robot, so I had to replay the entire game so I could get the Wookiee and get the robot. But yeah, anyway, Star Wars, like I said, I kind of want to play it just to see how bad it is. But come on, man, this game, this is Ubisoft too. This is Ubisoft too. I feel like this shouldn't have been a game. Like, we recently had like Star Wars, what's it called? The Jedi Survivor one, right? Jedi Survivor one, those were good. Those were really good Star Wars games. I really enjoyed it. Second game was a little bit buggy, I agree. It was kind of a hot mess at launch, but it was still a very good game, and the gameplay was like really good and played really fun. And then we get, I guess EA did better than Ubisoft.
Hey,
Alright. That was Star Wars.